know you've been having a great year so far. You have your documentary that was released, a gym that you opened in Las Vegas. You know, you're doing a lot of different things, man.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things for me, what I'm finding is, you can be a great athlete and achieve whatever you want globally, but if you can't transfer that name into a business to be able to make money off of that, in the future, what good is it? So that's basically what I've been trying to do, is market my name and branding a name. So I mean, I can't go back on stage. I have no desire of ever going back on stage, but I do want to utilize the name that I built globally over the last half of my life, actually. So that's basically what I've been trying to do lately.
That was actually a rumor going around that you wanted to make a comeback of some.
You know what? No, I mean, listen. The God's honest truth is I don't even I can't even really relate to the sport anymore because it's changed so much. And me personally, first and foremost, I've been through, probably over 40 surgeries, trying to save my life because of my rare kidney disease. So, I have so many scars on my body. It looks like I've been in a fight with Freddy Krueger and Jason at the same time. So, but more so than that, for me, what I understand personally is, even if I was in my prime and didn't have any problems, or, I've had back surgeries and shoulder surgery since then and everything, but even if I was injury free, the chances of me competing at 100% of what I looked like before is pretty slim to none. So why would I go and defecate on what I've done before? I can never super exceed that. And the only reason I would ever come back is because I felt I could super exceed my best. And I don't feel that I could. But for me to go back on stage, no, I have no business standing up there with Phil Heath and Kai Green. It's their era. It's just like the great Lee Labrada said to me after competing with him one year. He said, it's my time to retire. And I'm like, Lee, what are you talking about? And he goes, it's the flex wheel era now. My time is gone, and you're the new generation. Well, these guys are the new generation, man. I'd rather sit back and watch them blaze instead of getting up there and getting my ass spanked by them.
I hear you. Now, you mentioned your kidney disease. So I read somewhere that is, you've been plagued by it your whole career and you've been battling it, right?
When I was 14, was the first time that they found out that I was leaking protein in my urine, and that's a telltale sign now for that disease, FSGS. Now they know once a person is leaking protein in their urine, they need to do more in detailed tests to see what's going on. Well, back then they didn't know about the disease. Wasn't that famous? Not too many people had it at that time. So I remember being told you have protein in your urine, and I asked, what does that mean? And it goes, well, if you were a drinker or something like that, we would tell you to stop drinking. But, you're 14, so we know you don't drink well. So, they didn't know. That was it. So, the next time I had protein in my urine at a higher dosage was when they found out that I had kidney failure, which was at 16 grams of protein that I was leaking in my urine, which is, very deadly at the time. So it was really difficult. It's something that I didn't talk about until I was forced to once I got a lot worse. But, you know, basically, I was a performance horse, and I was kept in a stable and I was paid to perform. And, realization hit when I simply just got in a car accident. I broke my neck in a few different places. And, while I was in a hospital, my contract was taken away from me. My entire means of making a living was taken away from me. So at that time, I really got a hard line understanding that, listen, you're paid to perform. And, if things happen, you don't get money. So, at that time, I just learned I need to shut my mouth about things that are going on personally in my life, because easily my contract can be taken now. But now, in hindsight, to answer your question, looking back at it, yeah, definitely I was able to come in extreme conditions a number of different times. But I noticed that each time I competed, that it was hard. I experienced extreme edema after each shows, and sometimes I would put on over 20 pounds of water right after a show within 24 hours, and I didn't understand it at the time. But at that time, now looking back, my kidneys were failing, and even I remember I can talk about it now, but it was 2000 when I competed in Olympia. Really felt horrible after the show. I got rushed to the hospital, and they told me there, it goes, Jamal, your kidneys failed. And I'm like, when the hell are you guys talking about? So at that time, they dialysized me in my neck, emergency dialysis, and my kidneys turned back on. And I asked them, what in the hell was that all about? And it goes, we don't know, but they didn't go and do further tests. But, and backing up in 1999 is when he actually told me about that I did have the disease. And at that time, it was the rarest kidney disease known to man. There was no cure to it. And, 90% of the patients die unless they get a kidney transplant. And, in 99, I was at the peak of my career. Here I am. I'm looking like a picture of health. So it's hard to believe that, I'm dying from something. But I did notice throughout my career and, that it would be harder for me to get in contest shape, or I would have problems with water. And sometimes I would be able to peak and sometimes I wouldn't be able to. But a lot of people, thought it was due to, me not dieting hard or whatever. But it's just, point blank is my kidneys were failing at various different times throughout my career.
So how are you dealing with this disease now?
Yeah. The part that sucks about it is, it's not like a bad heart. You can have a bad heart, you get a heart transplant, you're fine. So, they still don't understand, but the disease is inside me. It doesn't go away. So I've met other patients where they go in and get a kidney transplant, and before they even leave the hospital, the disease has ravaged their new kidney, and they leave on dialysis. So I've been very fortunate and blessed to have the same kidney, and I'm doing pretty well. So I'm doing great. It was a struggle for a while. I had in 2005, I had 9 surgeries in 11 weeks that I almost died from. That was pretty interesting. But my life has kind of always been a fight on various different plateaus, and I was able just to change mind frames and say, okay, this is just another fight, and this is a fight that I can't lose. Period.
Well,
So
God bless, man. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, man.
yeah, me too. Yeah, definitely.
Now, I also read somewhere that when you were a teenager, you dealt with a lot of depression.
Yeah.
Was bodybuilding something that helped you get over certain things and turn into something positive in life?
Yeah, it was. First and foremost, it was actually martial arts that helped me plateau all of that, because it was just a release for me. And, being a child, you don't understand why these different things or these thoughts manifest in your head. It's almost like if you have a computer and there's a virus and your computer is acting up, but you don't know you have a virus, but the virus running in the background causing all these various different things, and you have to deal with your computer not knowing why. That's kind of how I was. And honestly, it took me into my mid 40s to be able to even start to understand what was really going on. So, but yeah, so it was a battle with depression. So martial arts really saved me when I got into it. It was still a struggle, and then bodybuilding came along, and that enabled me to kind of create this alter ego Flex Wheeler cat who didn't have any problems, who was quick to get in your face, loud and out front guy. But I was all just kind of like a just an alter ego type image that I produced because I didn't want people to see the real me and the struggles that I dealt with. So I was kind of just a chameleon.
Did you continue doing martial arts when you were a bodybuilder?
Yeah, I did. I fought competitively. Actually, when I won the California Championship in '98, that Sunday, I went and won another martial arts title, and that was the last time I actually fought a full contact in martial arts was 1998. For a while, my trainer Ty McGuire, who's like a mentor to me, and also my martial arts trainer, I was really struggling, because I just won a California Championship, and that was supposed to have been a big title at the time, and I'm doing extremely well. I had over 70 fights in martial arts that I didn't even get scored on. So as he puts it, as good as I was as a bodybuilder, I'm 10 times greater as a fighter. So I was like, which one do I pick? So what Ty told me, goes, well, the sport is going to pick you, and I go, well, which one picked me? He goes, well, bodybuilders picked you. I go, but I'm better at fighting. He goes, yeah, but there's no money in fighting. There's money in bodybuilding, so that's the one you're going to have to go with. So I kind of put that to the wayside. But martial arts has always been my first love, and still is, and I continue training throughout the years, and I love it. If MMA and K1 and UFC was all back in my days, man, I would have done that in a heartbeat. I would have flourished. I would have loved that, man. That would have been a beautiful thing.
So Flex, when you look back at your career and just bodybuilding overall, how would you describe your position?
You know what I mean? It's a very subjective sport. Me personally, all I see is faults, in me because I'm just wired as a competitor. So I still see flaws in what I should have did different, and I'm constantly playing things over and over. Like I should have did this, I should have did that. But yeah, I think that I'm just an A personality person. You're never happy. You're always trying to improve on something. So, that's kind of a double-edged sword. It cuts in a good way because you're always driven, but it cuts in a bad way too because you can never sit back and say, "Wow, that was great," because you'll just always see imperfections in what you did. For the last probably 3 or 4 years, me and Kevin been talking about him coming back, and actually that's kind of been a small circle of a couple of us from the '90s who talked to Kevin, and we've all agreed if anybody can come back and do it, it will be Kevin.